Good afternoon, vintage amplifier fans. We're on the Mullard at last. As you can see, I've got everything stripped. These wires here are all these are heater wires. Some are 12 volts, some are 12 volts, some are 6.3, some are 6.3. And I'll work out what they are from the schematic. Basically what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the schematic for the row amplifier to build the power supply, and I'm going to use the schematic from the Mullard to build up the left and right channels. I've not ordered the valve sockets I need yet, and I've not ordered the audio transformers I need, but I'm going to start work on the power supply and start building that up. So without further ado, I'm going to start digging out the components. I've got, just before I do that, I've got these two capacitors here, which are the originals, and I've tested those on the ESR tester, and they're absolutely spot on. So I'm going to leave them in for now, and because there's no wrong with them, they test okay. So I'm going to leave them in and see how we get, and if I have to, then I'll change them at a later date, but for now I'm going to leave them in. I'm going to build the power supply up and see how we get on from there. And I'll pause the video while I go and dig out the necessary components, i.e. mainly resistors. Be back soon, folks. Right, we're back. Right, the B plus wires are on, they're not soldered in yet. These resistors are in place, this end is soldered. These 1K resistors here have got to be soldered. Well, they actually are. Yeah, we're soldered here and here. We've got to solder these here. And this capacitor I think has got to come back out because I'm not going to be using that. And these are obviously negatives, grounds. Then browns are not used, and these greens are going. These greens are going to be the heaters, or for you American viewers, the filaments. This red wire here is not going to be used. This red and yellow is not going to be used. I've still got the valve sockets, like I say, to order. Oh, pardon me. And I'm going to proceed today. This brown wire here is not going to be used, so I'll leave it there for now in case I want to take something to that and use it, but at the moment it's not being used. This capacitor here is in. It's a bit close to the valve socket, that's all. I might even move that, but we'll see. But at the moment it's in, and really what I should have done was put that capacitor, actually I should have put it not there, but I should have put it there and there, and yeah, I should have put it across, because it goes across the resistor, so really I should have put it, no I shouldn't. No I shouldn't, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. But that's right, I stand corrected by myself. Right, I'm going to work out, what I'm going to do, I'm going to solder these in here so that they're in permanently, and then I'm going to work out the heater wiring. The heaters on this are parallel, and I'm going to put all the heater wires in, but I'm not going to, obviously, I can connect for the EWC83s, I can connect the heater wires up for that, but that's about it, because I'm short of valve sockets. I need to jump on the net in a bit and get some ordered, and I still need to order the transformers for this as well, but I'll do that at a later date. I don't need the transformers to wire most of it, I only need the transformers to wire up the end of it, the output stage, but the valve sockets are needed, so I'll get them ordered. but in the meantime I can be wiring up any negatives that need to be put in, any extras in the power supply. I need to look at the power supply for the MULLARD itself and see if there's any requirements in that power supply that need to be incorporated into this. Anyway, I'll pause the video for now and I'll get that done and then I'll come back. Good evening, electronics fans, vintage electronics fans. Right, I'm moving along with the build of my amplifier. I'm building it to the design of the MULLARD 510, I think it is, if I remember rightly, amplifier, but I'm doing it doing a stereo version. Oh, pardon me, just turn the meter on. Right, I've got two ECC83s in, which are wired. The heaters are wired, so I'm going to test the heater circuit. I've not got the transformer connected, it needs 110 volts. And I've also left one wire of the transformer off, so I don't put DC into the transformer. We don't want to do that because we damage the windings, maybe. We've got the power supply set, the bench power supply up here. Here we've got that set to 6.3 volts for the heaters. So let's turn this light off and let's see what we get. Whoa, that was a bit of a flash up there. But ECC83s do that. We are lighting up. That bottom one's lighting up. Both filaments or heaters, filaments for the Americans, heaters for the rest of us, are lighting up. Let's just move over to the valve. There we go. They are lighting up, you can see them just, and we've got 6.3 volts. Just turn the backlight to the meter on. There we go. We've got 6.3 volts. I could have used my bench meter, but I just decided to use this one. Anyway, 6.3 volts on there, and these actually starting to get warm. Yeah, both heaters are glowing. I can see them. Yeah, we've got both heaters glowing, and as I say, we're you can probably see that, folks. And this is the first step. A lot of reflections. This is the first step to me getting this amplifier, getting some sort of life out of this amplifier. This is the first sign of life it's had, albeit nothing really. It's only the heaters, but at least I know the heater. At least I know if I pull one out, what a valve out, there we go, and we should still stay lit up on that one there, and we are. So, oh, bit of a crackle from somewhere then. So if I pop this one back in, we know that we're in. Just put the camera down a second. Actually, they're pretty good valve sockets because I wasn't even in, and it started to glow. There we go, we're in. And we're actually glowing, and we are wired in parallel, like I say, like we're supposed to be. But I'm giving these DC at the moment. I'll give you an under look at the bottom of the chassis. Just turn the light back on and turn them off now. Turn them off now because let's just disconnect it from the power supply, because I can take them two wires out but I'll recycle those wires because there'll be enough wire there. I know most people use greens or whatever for heaters, but I'm going to use these 2 wires here that I've just used for the test to run the rest of the heaters, to connect from the EWC83s to the EL84s and the EF, what are they? EF86, EL84s, and I'm sure they're EF86s. EF88 according to that. So EF88s, but I'm sure they're EF86s. I could be reading that wrong on the screen. I'm going to double check it now, folks. EF86s. There's a bit of interference in here, folks. Yeah. EF86s. They're EF86s then, folks. So we'll this mouse is a bit naff. There we go. Yeah, EF86s. Right, so what I'll do, I'll use these wires. I'll recycle these wires to take to the rest of the valves, and we'll see how we go on from there. And that's all for now, folks. So I'll pause this video and we will continue. Oh, before I do, I'll give you a quick look. These wires here are not being used. These browns, they won't be getting used. This red here, red and yellow stripe, this one won't be getting used. These are HT wires. We've got the 1K resistors on here. We've got a 6.8K here, which I think I'm going to have to change. But there again, I can probably leave that out. I don't think I'm going to need that anyway. But there again, I will have to drop the voltage, because I know this particular circuit puts out, with no valves in it, puts out 400 volts. With valves in it, this was designed to run 7868 audio outputs, but I'm replacing with EL84s, which means I need to drop the voltage, and MULLARD calls for the voltage at the EL84s to be 300 and what do they say the voltage should be? Let me just check. I think it's 300, but let me just have a look. This mouse is a bit naff, folks. Let me just have a quick look. Voltages. I think it's on this one. Yeah. At the anode, we want 312 volts. At the screen grid, we want 312 volts. 315 volts. And at the cathode, we want 12 volts. And they're all positive voltages by the look of that. EWC83 wants 200 volts on its first and second anode, 61 on its 61 on its first and second grids, and first and second cathodes is 63.5 volts. Where they get the 0.5 from, I do not know, but and the EF86 is 61 volts on its anode, and the anode for you American viewers is the plate, as you know. The screen grid is 72 volts and the cathode is 1.5 volts. And that's pretty much it, folks, for now. I'll leave it there, and we'll come back when I've got a bit more to add. All this will be tidied up, all these wires, all will be tidied up I've twisted the heater wires together, just because that's how I always remember seeing them. These ones will be capped, so they're not being used. These browns will be capped. This one will be disconnected and capped. I might, if I don't use that post, if I don't use that tab, then I'll leave that wire on there because it'll be out of the way then. There's an orange one there. I'm not sure what that's being used for. Nothing going to it, so that, yeah. Because this had a mute relay and all sorts of things in it, in its original life as a jukebox amp. But like I say, we've got the B plus wires in. I only need one B plus, I think, but I've got two in there. Because you never know, I might want to power something else from it as well, so it's there if it's needed. And if it's not, if I decide I don't need it when it's all done, then I'll take it out. But for the moment I've put two in, one off this capacitor here, one off this section of the capacitor here. But I think I will only need one, but we'll see. Anyway, I shall leave it there. Pardon me folks, I'll pause the video here and I'll get back to you when I get a bit more done. Thanks for watching, and more to come later.